sun has set, the lights are low, the candles are lit. It is time once again for the Groovy Podcast. Welcome back to the Creepy Broadcast. This is Jason, never mind. And, it's good to be back. Did you miss me? You should aim better.
Creepy Podcast Episode 4, Story 1, La Llorona Hunting, sent by some stupid hippie.
I'm partially Mexican, so I know about La Llorona. I have a personal experience about La Llorona, so I feel a connection, I feel a kinship. I feel like no one's ever really done La Llorona justice. This story's pretty good, I'll say that. The movies are all horrible, they're terrible, they're terrible, not good, no. When I was young, though, I was camping with my dad and my stepbrothers and my uncle and my stepmom. And we were around a campfire, and my dad was very dramatic, and he told this story about La Llorona, the original story. Or one of the originals, I don't know. But we're camping, and it's basically like, she falls in the river because the bridge breaks, gives birth to her baby, loses it, and she's like the Walking Dead looking for her baby. So she goes to campsites, in the middle of the night looking for her child. And if you get scared and scream, she'll grab you and drag you into the lake. And that's the story of La Llorona. So my dad's telling the story of a dun 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 my scrotum? No. So my dad's telling the story of La Llorona. And I asked the question, I'm like, what happens if you make her pissed, man? And he's all like, well, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, out in the distance, we heard an actual real scream. And all of us were visually shaken. I'm asking my dad, I'm like, did you plan that? Because, he's funny like that. And he's like, no, that was, I don't know what that was. So I'm not saying anything happened at all, but this is funny to me, and I really always am curious when someone writes something about La Llorona. So this one is called La Llorona Hunting, not to be confused with Good Will Hunting, unless this is about a zombie woman who lost her baby who has this brilliant mind for mathematics and has a thick Boston accent. I can't even do the apples joke. You like apples? I don't even know what accent that is. Never mind. I'm not doing Boston. You like apples? Here's some apples. So you want to take a walk on the wild side, huh? La Llorona came from out on the island. In the back room, she was taking people's children. So you want to take a walk on the wild side, huh? My dad and I were kind of junkies for this sort of thing. Now, don't get me all wrong or misled here. You want to actually see and touch the supernatural, right? Ooh, this doesn't feel right already. You're not those kinds of people who just quote, talk, unquote about it and then chicken out. Okay, so that's the actual sentence. You're not those kinds of people who just talk about it and then chicken out. Because you see, it's situations like this that make it real easy for the common motherfucker to bitch out. You see a horror film, you think of plans on how to observe it, and beat it, or even use it to your advantage. You're the kind of person who would enjoy seeking a... Oh, that almost went really bad. You're the kind of person who would enjoy seeing a... Okay, I already drove that joke home, so you go ahead and you take that where you want to, but here's the line. For those of you following along at home on your home computers, you're the kind of person who would enjoy seeking a hunt. Unfortunately, UNFORUNATELY. UNOFORNUATELY. I can't tell you how many times my father and I went out to find nothing. It happens, you know. Nothing. Can't ask the supernatural to appear on a whim. Nothing. Everyone in San Antonio knows the story of La Llorona, and any child could tell you that La Llorona walks the banks of the river, crying and seeking out the children she drowned before she can enter heaven. Why is heaven is heaven an actual place? We have to capitalize geography, right? Okay. Seeking out the children she drowned before she can enter capitalized heaven. I'm pretty sure, after hearing all the stories, she's not a particularly vengeful spirit. If you don't know La Llorona, you need to rehearse. Hold on. If you don't know La Llorona, you need to research her story for yourself, yo. You personally need to make a decision. I am not going to type out her backstory for you because it takes away your choice on whether or not you want to pursue the hunt. So stop right here if you're a Yankee from the North or need a refresher on the spooky tale. You'll only fool yourself into thinking you're ready when you're You'll only really fool yourself into thinking you're ready when you're really just unprepared. La Llorona hunting goes like this. Drive along the banks of the Guadalupe River or San Antonio River with your car headlights off. Keep mindful of other motorists and go slowly because you got your lights off and it's illegal and you're going to kill somebody. But you know, my scrotum, my La Llorona. Listen closely for the sounds of weeping or a woman calling out for her babies in Spanish. Once you hear the cries, stop the car and turn it completely off. Hopefully, it's really not a person who needs your help and who's crying out for her babies who can only speak Spanish because you're the sick fucker who's trying to find some weird ghost in some urban legend. Too many movies. Hopefully, you might see her walking along the riverbed, crying and calling out. Just watch. Don't interrupt her or anything, and don't try to interrupt her search. It's a fun game my dad took me along on. I started this hunting when I was just 4 years old. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm going to read it exactly how it says it. It's a fun game my dad took me along on. I started this hunting when I was just 4 years old, and I was sitting in my dad's truck as we were driving back from San Antonio. We used to hunt together until I was about 6. I mentioned that most of the time, when we went hunting, nothing was actually found, except the very last time. And isn't that always how it goes? Seriously, it's always the last one that fucks you over. You need to know when to stop. Quit while you're ahead. Because really, no one's ever like, oh man, I don't regret that last one. No, you always do regret that last one because that last one is the one that made it the last one. Yeah, it's the last one. Yeah, it's gone. Just like Glenn Frey. And you know what? No disrespect. I'm being a bigger person. Except the very last one. I was 6 years old and it was my birthday. My dad forgot about getting me presents or even a cake, so he drove to San Antonio after getting off work, telling me that I could pick out anything I wanted. I was upset. Of course, because as a kid, we all want our birthdays to be special. Fair enough, that's totally true. It was 6 years old. I mentioned that most of the time when we went hunting, nothing was actually found, except the very last time. I was 6 years old and it was my birthday. My dad forgot about getting me presents or even a cake, so he drove to San Antonio after getting off work, telling me that I could pick out anything I wanted. I was upset, of course, because as a kid, we all want our birthdays to be special. The idea that our parents forgot about it or didn't care enough, it hurts us. It was already late, and the stores were all closed. I was sitting in my seat, crying for the millionth time, and my dad tried to appease me by buying a chocolate shake from Whataburger. I've never had a Whataburger, but I'm assuming it's a burger place. Of course, I was crying so hard that the shake just dropped out of my hand, and my dad instinctively yells about the product staining the floor. But the product? The product of what? He pulls over to a car wash and starts scrubbing and vacuuming the floor, having enough of my tantrums and telling me to grow up about having a crappy birthday. Crappy birthday to you. Crappy birthday to you. Crappy birthday, bratty child. La Llorona's coming for you. I just turned on my shoulder and told him that I wanted to go home and I didn't want to be out here anymore. My dad gets angry and stressed, slams the door shut, and tells me that if I don't stop mourning over spilled milk, he'll find La Llorona and give me to her. Dude, what's up with dads being dicks in these stories? He has sort of a bad temper and doesn't really think his jokes are as offensive as they seem. Summer nights in July are hot and unbearable, so when he hits the first bank of the San Antonio River outside of San Antonio, makes sense, he shuts off the lights and stares at me. Doesn't make sense. He finally tells me that he's sorry he forgot my birthday and that he had to work so late. Makes sense. He loves me and he's grateful that for another year he gets his daughter. A little creepy. I wipe away the snot and tears from my face and say, I forgive you, Daddy. I love you, Daddy. He hugs me from across the seat and tells me that I can stop crying now and he'll take me back home.
I'm not crying anymore.
There's a moment of silence before my dad quietly says, don't look outside. And as a 6-year-old kid, of course you're going to try. And as a 6-year-old kid, of course you're going to try to look. I try to twist my head around, and all I see is a brief glimpse of a hen pressing against the passenger side window, saying, Mi hija, over and over again, hija, hija, followed by some Catholic prayer in Spanish. Now that lady's at 16th and Mission every day. My dad reacts, rather poorly and hastily, pulling his pistol and shooting at the window twice. Bad dad decisions. That seems to be okay. If there's going to be a drinking game associated with the show, it's time to start establishing rules. One of them is and the other one is bad dad decisions. So I'm going to try and point them out when I remember them, but and then bad dad decisions. So far, those are the two. Okay, so bad dad decisions. Cheers. I try to twist my head around and all I see is a brief glimpse of a hand pressing against the passenger side window, saying, Mija, over and over again, followed by some sort of Catholic prayer in Spanish. My dad reacts rather poorly and hastily, pulling his pistol and shooting at the window twice. I guess that counts as two bad dad decisions, so, dose. The window glass falls down, and it's then that my dad realized he's rendered his child vulnerable. All I'm doing is screaming and wailing, not knowing what the hell is going on. The car isn't turning on. My dad is shouting. I'm crawling over the seat, forgetting my dad has a ready weapon in his lap. The gun discharges. Follow me. Can you feel me? There's a sharp, short shock on my leg. And behind me, I can hear noises as if someone is trying to crawl through the passenger window with their whole body, as opposed to leaving part of their body outside of it. From stress of the body, I throw up, and my mac and cheese dinner is all over the dashboard and my father's truck. Party foul. I can feel a warm hand around my ankle, almost gripping it. And then there's a warm light that floods the windshield. Bright, white lights that encompass and burn my eyes, making them sting. There's a little black spot on the sun today. High beams. Another car was traveling towards San Antonio and had high beams on, passing us without stopping. My dad holds me close and kisses me, telling me that he loves me. Creepy. The car turns on suddenly and he guns the gas, holding me in his lap all the way back home. Creepy. I must have passed out because I don't remember the drive. Okay, no comment. It isn't until morning that I see the damage. The window is broken completely and glass is all over the passenger seat. Dried vomit is now stuck to his dashboard and it smells like sour milk and rotten garbage. So it smells like really expensive cheese. The bullet only grazed me on the shallowest surface of skin, leaving a very unique burn mark. Oh, it's a snowflake. There is no other evidence of another person in the car. After spending a day in shock and grief, my dad cleans his car and sells it the first chance he gets. He immediately resolves to work on his temper and took therapy twice a week for 6 years. And no matter how bratty or obstinate I get, he never once tells me he'll give me away or kick me out. I should mention that the tears of children or the weeping of children brings out La Llorona faster. I don't want to because I know some of you will intentionally drag your little ones out there, like my dad did, to lure her just to quench your thirst. Just remember, someone out there is always going to want your precious... Just remember, someone out there is always going to want your precious angels, and I doubt very seriously they'll give them back. One comment. The hunter will become the hunted. Categories: ghosts, ritual.
Creepy Podcast, Episode 4, Sim Albert, with guest orators, Pumpkinbuttt, and Odessa, Lil, synths by DJ, for INNNN.
Hello, this is, wow, it's weird doing this in front of people all of a sudden.
I can see you.
I know, it's
Put
weird.
your pants on.
God damn it, I always do this with my pants off. It's the only way I can breathe because my nose is, that's how I'm fine. Okay. This is Jason, never mind, and I'm sitting here with,
Pumpkinbuttt.
Audra? What?
You're not Audra.
I'm Desmond.
You're Pumpkinbuttt.
I'm Pumpkin. Yeah.
Are we still using that?
Patrick does.
Patrick calls you Pumpkinbuttt. Okay,
Yes.
I'm sitting here with
Thanks, Ma.
Pumpkinbuttt, and is there a clever name or we...
Odessa Lil
There we go, that's
Sure.
clever.
or Audra.
Whatever.
I answer to hey
Either
you.
or.
Creepy Audra.
Because your hair's like pasta.
Well, because it used to be Creepy Podsta, but I had to change it.
So fan fiction a go-go.
Yeah,
Whatever
I mean,
you want.
I'm hoping people will send things in. I want this to evolve into something horrible.
Something horrible.
It's horrible. Don't worry.
It's
Something horrible.
Terrible. Yes.
It's the name of our production company. Something horrible.
Something horrible.
For you.
for you.
And your loved ones.
Yes. I sent this one to you because we grew up as nerds together, and I find the nerd stuff fascinating. I feel like you know the language. I'm not saying you were a huge Sims guy, but I know you were around it.
Yeah, I never really got into Sims or like Second Life or any of that stuff because my life isn't really weird enough that I don't really need to
I mean, it's
play a
boring.
simulator.
Like, what, you're going to go grocery shopping in a video game?
But that is the thing, though. It's like the thing about the Sims is you have to be sadistic because you're either going to raise them right or you're going to mess with them.
It's true.
Or you're going to make their lives hell.
Yeah. It's bizarre. And then our friend Ken made that The Sims about us and everything.
Ken has a game going where he's got us in the game. He doesn't call us or email us or talk
But
to
he's
us
got
at
you in
all.
a
But
Sims
he's too
game.
busy playing with us.
No, it's Mako
That's
and
creepy, that's
and
creepy.
Odessa and all of us, and we
It's
all
like
live in
the
a house.
Speak Easily gang.
Yeah,
He's like
it's this-
somehow in his game.
Yeah, it's this week. I have to ask him how that's going.
I gotta charge him rent on that. Really.
Rent on intellectual property.
Yeah. I mean,
my
I don't know
God.
about the intellectual part, but yeah, there's some property.
Hey, for mature audiences only, right?
Whenever I see that, I'm like, all right, there's a lie. There's a lie right there.
Yeah, like, oh, that counts me out.
There we go.
So when Jason Nevermind asked us if we wanted to do this, we're like, sure. And so he started sending us various different creepypasta stories. And again, he chose one that was video game related because we did play a lot of video games when we were younger. I've known Jason Nevermind for a very long time. So so the one that we're going to read today, or I'm going to read, is Sim Albert. Because you might not know that I'm a black guy. And
Wait, you don't have a black accent?
Yeah.
Wait, no. Oh, I'm leaving.
And,
I tell you, lied to me
and,
all these
He
years.
speaks black.
and Sim Albert was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid.
I shop at Fat Albertsons.
Fat Albert.
Hey, there's a special on ham.
So the title of this one is called Sim Albert. Mysteriously, I found a family on the Sims game. Maybe I thought my sister decided to add this family as a joke. She's done this a few times before.
Stop touching my stuff.
I had reason to believe that she actually did just that when I looked at the family. It includes 4 adults, 1 teen, and a young kid.
And a monkey.
And a monkey.
Who are these 4 adults?
Monkey
Is it like a
spankers.
Swing family? Like there's
It's the 70s.
mom,
no,
it's mom,
it's
it's dad,
obviously
and mom.
futuristic because it's set today and they're living in San Francisco
That's exactly
in a tech bungalow.
What I like about it is they really go the person and really gets involved in these people, these Sims people. Mm-hmm. The teen was named Caitlin and had a part-time job as a receptionist at the spa, the spa, I don't know,
The spa.
the spa, and had a C average in school. Probably must have been under a lot of stress.
And ate
She
a lot,
works a lot at the spa.
and ate a lot of hormones, like beef with hormones and things.
Could be.
Yeah, lots of like RBST milk, probably. C average in school.
Arby-esque milk.
RB-esque milk, yes.
I love Arby's. 3 out of the 4 adults were unemployed. Definitely not in San Francisco. And they were named Alvin, Pamela, Robert, and Will.
And Theodore.
Alvin was the only one holding a job and was a squad leader in a military career. The other 3 were content just hanging out at home, although they did not seem to like each other at all.
Meth.
They're
That's a
making
meth house.
So they're making
Yeah,
meth.
let's talk about the subtext.
No, I saw this documentary on HBO. That's a meth house.
So Caitlin is selling meth at the spa.
That's right.
It's a meth spa.
It's a meth spa. Yeah, they exercise 24/7.
Wait a minute. Could you imagine having like a mud rub that's like nothing but like mud and meth, and you're just gonna soak in your pores?
That's just what happens when you do meth. You end up rolling in mud.
After you alphabetize your CDs.
Yeah, after you alphabetize, like whoever's house you broke into after you alphabetized their CDs.
I need to go to a spa now. The final one was Albert. He was a little kid who had a B- average in school. How does this person know this?
Yeah, is that something that's in The Sims where they tell you that
it must be
the
It must
be? I don't remember anything like that in The Sims.
I thought this was a weird family, but it seemed fine until I looked in the photo album.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Here
it showed
it
Alvin
comes.
marrying a woman with black hair. Alvin was blonde. Alvin had black hair.
Okay, so obviously they shouldn't be
Sorry,
together.
Alvin was blonde. Albert had black hair.
Hair segregation now.
I assume that this had to have been Albert's mother. It showed pretty much their normal happy bits, like Albert being born.
They're
Then
bits.
all of a sudden, it cut to a fire.
Of their bits were on fire.
My bits
no.
are on fire!
It's
My
cut-
bits!
My twigs and bears.
But you look into a photo album and
you see a fire.
You see the fire. So they took
First
pictures.
page, there's bits.
Wait,
Second
wait,
page,
Grab the
on
camera.
fire.
The house is on fire. I want to remember this forever.
You know what? If my house ever catches on fire, I'm gonna do that. I wanna put this in my scrapbook. All the confetti can be red and shit. You know.
Oh, remember the day we lost all of our belongings? Sigh.
September 30th.
I cried that day. I tell you, all day. Still haven't stopped.
I thought that was unusual that it would be so detailed. So do we. But the next picture showed a toddler, Albert, just short of staying there
On
while
fire.
Albert, just sort of staying there while Alvin was in front of a tombstone crying. It had to have been Albert's
pizza?
mother who died in
Did
the
he
fire.
burn a tombstone pizza and he cried over it?
Maybe.
I'd cry
I don't
over
know.
pizza.
Seriously. 'cause
Unfortunately,
you
I
gotta
have
get
not-
delivery after that.
So, unfortunately, I have not found her in game, but later on, I did find her tombstone. The next picture showed Alvin moving in with Pamela, Robert, Will, and Caitlin. Caitlin was Will and Pamela's daughter. The pictures after that showed the adults fighting, fires being started, No more deaths.
Meth, Sons of Anarchy. It's Sons of Anarchy, right?
No more deaths.
This is dinner at Sons of Anarchy.
But also some other unusual pictures.
Okay, so we got death, destruction. Okay, where's the weird stuff come in? Okay.
Fighting. I like the pic that she took pictures of fighting.
She's like, get him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Infighting.
Okay, so Alvin was in almost none of these pictures, but the first one showed Robert cooking the food, giving it to the others, and then one by one, it showed them hurling in the toilet.
Quick, get the camera.
Oh, get the camera. Oh, you didn't get it going in. Oh, it was beautiful. Get a picture.
Okay, as someone who just had a bout of stomach flu, I don't know if I can continue. Anyway. Oh, wow. Then pictures after that showed Robert attacking Will and Pamela, then yelling at Caitlin and Albert. It was obviously bad food, which often makes Sims sick. So Sims can get sick with bad food. But was it intentional?
The fun to make them sick with bad food.
Other pictures in this album included everyone fighting with each other, doing mean things like breaking the computers, and appearing to abuse Albert. Then it showed Albert sitting alone in his room, while Caitlin was out of focus, probably at her part-time job, since she was the only one bringing in any money.
Math.
Pretty much. Alvin finally shows up in some of the pictures. He was shown yelling at Robert, Pamela, and Will about something, assuming it was probably telling them to get a job. Then the next picture was about Robert attacking Alvin, which Alvin won since he has a higher body score. Military branch required it.
They have body scores in Sims?
I'm assuming.
Is that like a body shot?
I hope
Or
not.
where's the tequila come in?
That's probably why they were yelling at each other.
Well, in The Sims, never mind. Go ahead.
I've got
However,
Sims poisoning.
Alvin seemed to vanish from the next photographs, which showed more of the same. More fires, lots of fire in this story. More sickening food, more abuse directed at each other.
Sims poisoning.
Take that, Alvin.
And also Albert and Caitlin. Albert was shown falling asleep numerous times.
Nodding off.
Especially after pictures showing him sleeping alone in his room while Will and Pamela came in and fought with each other and he left. A few times it showed him sleeping on the floor in another room, in the kitchen, or even outside. A few pictures even showed Alvin passing out in front of school.
This is like my family's photo album.
I know. This doesn't...
Wait,
it seems like
in front of school?
It seems like every Midwestern story I've heard right now. Sorry, people in the Midwest.
Sorry, I passed out in front of school today.
I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
Exactly. We'll put it in the scrapbook.
Put it next to the fire. Those are my favorite. Those are cozy photos. Those fire photos of our house on fire.
We took those at JCPenney's.
Oh, that's right.
Could you imagine that?
We brought the burning house in.
Could you imagine that? Like having the background being a burning house and like everyone having like a sweater with that's on fire.
Let me put on my Talking Heads tape first, and then we'll get in the mood.
One picture showed Albert being led home by police after he fell asleep in a park past curfew. What, Sims has curfew? Fuck! Oh my god!
It's a police state?
The Sims is a police state. I love it.
This game sounds really fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow!
Do I get to pay my taxes too? Is it?
You probably do.
Oh god! I gotta go to work today in The Sims. God damn it!
Right as Alvin walked home, and then it showed Alvin scolding and yelling at. Sorry, it showed Alvin scolding and yelling at Albert. Albert ran up to his room and was shown crying, only for Alvin to be in the next photograph yelling at him. This is a shitty photo album.
Here's what I'm wondering. Okay, who's taking these photos?
I have no idea.
Do they have like a family photographer that's just running around catching every horrible moment? Wait, they're fighting again. Go in there. You don't want to miss it.
That probably.
Can I get that job?
God takes these photos.
Oh yeah.
God is the camera.
After that, Alvin showed up in some of these pictures.
God Pro.
And what some TV trope visitors would call dysfunctional junction. Dysfunction junction.
I saw that.
Dysfunctional
porno.
junctional.
I think I grew up in that household.
And I think we can all relate to this.
Jump on this train. It's going. It's good. It's too late. You're on it. Go ahead.
Albert and Caitlin were never mean to each other, thankfully. The album ended with Albert and Caitlin talking about something. That's when I basically took over their story. So during the day, Will, Pamela, and Robert would repeatedly fight with each other. Although Will and Pamela would get together to woo-hoo with each other, sometimes Robert would even woohoo with Pamela.
They would woohoo.
They were woohooing.
Woohoo.
Just for the record here, I just want people to know out there that it actually says on, and I use the word page, it says woohoo. Right?
Yeah.
It actually does say.
It says woohoo.
We're not trying to be, because we'll say fuck, it's fine, but he's actually, someone wrote woohoo.
As a verb.
Yeah.
As something that 2 or 12 people do together when they love each other and have a spacious backseat.
But what was funny is the first time woohoo is used, it's 2 separate words, and the second time it's used as 1 word.
Oh, well, see, that's the second time. Well, no, that's reversed. The second time goes slower.
Well, no, because the first time would go slower because it's woohoo. This one is woo. So the second time would go faster because I guess you're used to it. Oh, well, no, that's not true because Will and Pamela would woohoo with each other, so that they were slow and sensual. Whereas Robert would woohoo with Pamela, but it was quick and fast.
Bam, 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 bam.
Because it was woo.
I don't want to know your name. I just want to bang, bang, bang. That kind of thing.
Exactly.
But they already know each other because they're in a meth house together. So.
He just gave me a who.
After.
But this is funny. See, sometimes Robert would even woohoo with Pamela, resulting in them slapping one another.
See, that's a complicated relationship right there.
I know this chick that likes to punch the guy she's having sex with. I've heard this about 3 different guys now.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, they exist.
Is it hot? Is that hot?
No.
Punch in the face while you're...
No, it's not. But you know what? It's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
I know folks in my community that do it too.
It's really what it is like if you're with somebody and they're just like, it's genuine. You're like, oh, well, you tried at least, right? If you're
I'm sure they deserved it.
No, not in my face. Don't hit the moneymaker.
And not in the hair.
Yeah. Don't hit the hair, the face.
Yeah, see, I do radio. Don't hit me in the face.
Everywhere else is fine.
Not the face.
I say this on the radio, right? We're on the radio and it's like fucking podcast. Into my face. Into my face.
The podcast is the new radio because who listens to the radio?
You know what? I actually do.
People in offices.
I listen to the radio.
K-Fog.
K-Fog.
The bone.
Yeah.
It's weird. I listen to the radio and it's crazy how much they offer people.
Really?
Like seriously, it's every hour.
Please listen to us.
Yeah, text this, win $1,000. Text that, do this, and I'm just like, Jesus, really? Are you
Fucking
serious?
pay attention to us.
It's like it's really crazy.
Here's the same 10 songs, please. We know you like these 10 songs.
So Will would often go out and flirt with Sims, prompting Pamela to walk over and slap him if she was there. Wow.
Last time I flirted with Sims, I was
Okay.
really sorry.
Well, here's the thing. Have you ever played the game?
Yeah, once.
Okay, do you remember how
Once.
they talk?
No, this
They're
is
just
like
like- they have-
12 years ago.
They
I
have
don't think
this weird
talked then.
way of talking.
Yeah, they
that's-
just started talking now, I think.
It's well, okay. Before they didn't have a language, but you could know what they were saying by the tone of voice. So they go like, say someone's being understanding, they'd be like, ah, no, 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 no. Or if they're mad at you, they'd be like,
Yeah. So it's just more audio cues.
oh, there's this one like when they're watching television and the movie previews come on and the horror movie preview comes on, you just hear, like it's hilarious.
I think it's in Esperanto.
That would be amazing.
It could be.
One time, Alvin came home from work, and the first thing he did was woohoo with Pamela while Albert was doing his homework.
In the same room?
I don't know. I wasn't aware the game would let you do this, but
He's taking sex ed, so it's totally fine.
I wasn't aware the game would let you do this, but he soon ran on out and started crying.
And started woohooing by himself and crying.
Right now, I pieced together what had probably happened. Alvin had married someone, had a baby that he named Alvin had married someone, had a baby that he named Albert.
He begat Albert?
Yes.
Okay.
But his wife died in the house fire, and they moved into a house with Will, Pamela, Caitlin, and Robert, and eventually they corrupted him.
Sounds like a sitcom.
The plot thickens.
Yeah, you know those sitcoms about corruption?
Yeah, exactly.
And fire starting? I don't know.
Yeah.
So you know my wife died in a fire. Aww.
Come on, let's go woohoo.
Hey, let's go rollerblading and get ice cream and start a business together.
Oh, up. Caitlin comes home from her part-time job and starts comforting Albert.
Are they woohooing?
No, I didn't say.
Is she just wooing him, possibly? No hooing, just
No wooing.
wooing.
This is a high
So-
school kid. Come on.
I checked.
Exactly, that's why I'm
I checked
asking.
Caitlin's age, and she was able to ascend to young adulthood within the next day.
Lolita.
So she could probably find a house with Albert. I paused the game, saved it, and then assembled a small house for the two to live in. Within their price range too. So then I went back and waited. It would take a while. It would take a little while.
They had to take out a Sims loan, and then
Exactly.
That
It's
had to
such a process.
Jeez. Normally, Caitlin's part-time job took place after school, so for a little while, Albert was home alone with Will, Pamela, and Robert. Albert was normally so tired, he would immediately go right up to the room he and Alvin shared and would take a nap. Similarly, Pamela and Robert were also taking a nap, although Pamela was still a bit tired for some reason.
Action-packed gameplay.
Someone wrote this.
And
So much napping going on.
and fire burning.
Wrote this.
Napping and arson. Can you see it? The kids will love it.
So in colons. No colon.
Stay out of my
Is
colon.
it a parenthetical?
I think it's a
situation?
parenthetical. I joked that she was so drunk she was still hungover at like 3:30 p.m. That's funny. Only Will was up, so the game didn't automatically go fast speed, which happens when you cannot directly control a sim due to them being asleep. Oh, so the Sims do have privacy, or where you can't fuck with them. That's good, I guess. So I went to look at what Will was doing, making sure he didn't go wake everybody up. However, I noticed Will was lighting a fireplace. Oh shit! And there was a carpet right next to him.
Here we go again.
Oh fuck!
Get the camera.
Get the camera.
Get the camera. It's time for more shots. Get some marshmallows and get your
shit!
get your fire clothes on, kids.
Them weenies. Anyway, anyone who plays The Sims knows what happens when you put a carpet around a fireplace. It lights on fire. So immediately I hit buy mode and moved it away because you had to buy something to save them?
Well, yeah, it's like that's how you get rid of stuff. You buy it back. It's like you buy something and it gives it to them, but you can take it away and you get the money back. It's a weird thing.
Ooh,
I seem to remember that, but again,
yeah.
this was
Years ago.
I was watching Joe play this in '97, probably. So
Yeah.
or Patrick. I was watching
Probably Patrick.
Yeah.
This seems like too slow for Joe. So I immediately hit buy mode and moved it away because I was quick. The house did not catch on fire. The fire burned a little while after Alvin and Caitlin walked home.
They became one person. They became Calvin.
Calvin.
I didn't know you could do that in The Sims.
That'd be amazing. That's what their babies is.
With some thread and a needle.
Sims tusk. By now, Robert and Pamela. Oh God.
Sorry, I have the human Sims.
Right.
The Simsipede.
Simsipede.
There we go. Okay. The inhuman Simsipede.
That's scary. By now, Robert and Pamela were up while Albert finished his nap. After Pamela broke Robert's computer for the umpteenth time, I had her extinguish the fire. These sound like amazing people.
Sounds like it's a normal Wednesday. Set the house on fire. I broke your computer, you asshole.
Will seemed
Do the dishes. I break your computer.
Will seemed a bit unusual. He would mumble to himself. He had that intense tirade after all. He had the insane tirade after all. He has a quirk that says insane tirade.
Oh, I had a friend with the insane tirade.
What?
Oh man, couldn't take him anywhere.
It's part of the insane tirade posse.
Oh god, especially at the supermarket. It's just like, these are supposed to be on sale.
That should be a mod you can just buy and give it to someone. And would sometimes, so he had the insane trait after all, and would sometimes sit around and do nothing, and in between spats with everyone else. What? I had Caitlin cook dinner so she wouldn't make everyone sick, as Robert could never cook anything good besides autumn salad.
Don't let Robert cook.
Autumn salad. That's what you eat, Audrey,
You
right?
know what?
I would like an autumn
happened?
salad with a side of summer squash.
But, well, I don't know.
Nice
It might make you
summer
sick.
squash there. Don't let him cook that.
Oh,
though.
and forget
my
about
winter
Pamela and Will, although Will could make waffles. Oh. It's just some of the most inane stuff.
Winter waffles.
That's my new indie band. Will could make waffles.
You
I
know
got
what?
T-shirts already, but I don't have any guys in the band yet. Doesn't matter.
Sounds like they're going to be on Fallon on Tuesday.
we have a tour shirt, but no band.
Seriously, they're going to be on Fallon.
Really, are they?
Yeah. So Rich would text me. Him and Coog would text me like, "Oh my God, did you hear? Buttonfly Zipper is going to be on Kimmel or Camel Butt
Fly Zipper.
or like Camel because like all these fucking weird ass names.
Blue
now.
Chocolatiers are on Kimmel tonight.
Yes, so he would text me and it'd be like all these weird ass like names of bands who I've never fucking heard of. It's like, you know, Applewood Shelf is gonna be on, you know, Ferguson or whatever. I don't know. It's just bizarre. So yeah, so when you say that shit, I'm like, I can't wait to see Will could make waffles as a next band name. So
Have you heard Will could make waffles? They're insane.
like someone's
they're,
gonna be
they're like future retro, but
they're big on Adult Swim.
but
so.
dubstep.
Dubstep.
I know that's retro, but it's back. It's back like vertebrae. Trust me.
The next day came and passed, and when Caitlin came home from work, she she progressed into young adulthood. Immediately, I had her find a new...
I remember the day I came home from work and progressed into young adulthood.
Yep.
I was wearing white pants that day. It was really embarrassing.
Oh, jeez.
You ripped your shirt, your tank top, ripped. You're like, yeah!
I had to clean the entire bathroom. I had no idea that was going to happen.
Like, why am I so hairy down there?
It was just like, what the? This happens?
Oh, get out! Go away! I'm busy. Oh,
Why do I stink?
Changes.
oh God! It's happening again. Do you want to see my transformation?
Immediately, I had her find a new place to live and moved her and Albert the hell out. The hell out. Not just out, the hell out.
Because of my transformation.
Good thing, too.
Run now!
Good thing, too. He couldn't complete his homework all the time since he would run out of energy quick and his mood was terrible.
Math.
So his grade average dropped to a D+, a warning sign.
Meth.
Caitlin immediately found a job in the culinary career, and Albert got his grades back up, no longer being tainted by the influence of his dad or Caitlin's parents. So the guy is just assuming that that's his kid. So there's nowhere else in the story did it say that Albert was Alvin's child.
You're looking for continuity now?
I really am. Like I want to.
Part of the fun of this is trying to find the logic. I feel.
Yeah. Caitlin immediately found a job.
Yeah, whatever. Caitlin and her job.
Yeah, and Robert,
Okay.
I played this for a little while longer
Back to the
and
arson.
taught Albert some writing. So he began to write novels, and it was always nice
It's nice.
and makes
that's nice,
ludicrous amounts of money. What? This has to be a fucking game. He's a writer and makes ludicrous amounts of money. What the fuck is going
decided
on?
to be a writer so I could make ludicrous amounts of money.
What the fuck? This.
I'm gonna throw them bows all over this typewriter.
There
and
goes
make
my
lots of
immersion
money.
right there.
Yeah.
I am no longer immersed in the story now. My immersion has been destroyed. Thank you.
Oh, the float tank is open. Who opened the tank?
So there's these games that I play, and I play them on consoles. I love games. And there's this thing, the new game came out called Fallout 4, and you can do whatever you want, but people have when you play it on the computer, you can put mods on it. So there's all these different mods that mod it out. And so there's this guy who rates
Super
the
mod.
mods to make the game look better, do different
he
shit,
does
right?
what to the mods?
No, he rates them.
Oh, okay,
It's
sorry.
hilarious. So he basically says, and he showcases them.
It's hilarious how he rates them.
Yeah, because he's very funny when
Rate
he
is
says
never
it.
funny.
But some of the mods are hilarious. What you could do in
Mods
these
are
games.
funny. How they're still into the Who and everything.
Yeah, so they made some of the monsters look like Randy Macho Man Savage. Oh yeah. So it's just bizarre that you can do these mods.
Yeah, nerd culture is quite extensive right now. I'm honestly really impressed because I thought I was a nerd and I realized that I need to catch up.
We're geeks.
Yeah, that is what it is now, right?
Did you see it? But there's a distinction now. There was a.
Well, no, I feel like there is because I was a nerd. I thought.
No, so actually, you guys were nerds. I was a geek. You know the
no, that makes
difference is?
sense. Yeah.
You know the difference is grade point average. If you have nerds are generally very high performing, very academic, studious people, whereas geeks just like cartoon stuff like that culture.
They're not doing their homework.
Yeah, they're not. And dorks are both of them together.
Oh.
Dorks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what a dork is.
Yeah. So see, you listen to the
Dorcas.
creepy the creepy podcast show, and you learn shit.
That's because there used to be way more distinctions. There used to be like dweebs and spazzes,
Freakazoids.
freakazoids. Yes.
I think they had to when the new hierarchy book came out, they had to get away with some of those other labels and just kind of boilerplate it down.
It's like we've gotten rid of the term moron, which actually used to be a medical term.
Actually, well, it's funny because they still use it in television shows. All
Well,
the time.
yeah, because it's slang now.
You can say it instead of retard.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry. Did I say retard?
You can't say that anymore.
It's okay to say
You
it.
can't say retard
Well,
anymore.
not like when you're calling somebody. You can't use it to call somebody something. But I think in discussion, you could use it. It's a
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
It's a word that you can say with your mouth and lips and tongue
Yeah.
and brain.
Stop being such a retard.
You never go full Riri. So then I go
Hey,
to check
rerun.
up on the other family. The
Oh, wait,
games
there's
had
something
already
going
played
on.
itself when you weren't there, so I went to see how they were doing without Caitlin or Albert.
This game's so much fun. It plays itself, but I'm not there. I can't wait for you to come back.
I can't lose.
I win because I'm the game.
When I loaded up the house with the 4 dysfunctional adults, I nearly shit myself at what I saw. So I guess this is when the drama hits. I'm assuming it's going to be pictures of houses on fire.
The shit's about to hit the fireplace.
Exactly.
I'm shitting pixels over here.
I'm
What
shitting
is it?
fire.
It burns!
There had been a lot of carpets and chairs placed haphazardly around the fireplace.
No!
Robert and Pamela were asleep.
Don't,
like what
Albert.
happened when Will almost burnt the house down, but
What
Will
happened,
himself
yeah.
was up. He had been walking away from the kitchen. Before I could have done anything, I got a message that there was a fire on the lot, preventing me from doing anything. When I got news that there was another fire on the lot, and this one had come from the kitchen, the inferno spread more and more while Will calmly walked around the house. And suddenly I got more and more messages that fires had started on the lot. Almost the entire house was now on fire. No,
That's a lot of fire.
now this was as much as the Sims would allow, but Will soon.
Hey there, buddy. Way too much fire.
Yeah, well, you gotta calm
Your
that shit
fire
down,
capacity.
Way too much fire, dude.
guys. But Will soon
Stop
walked.
burning everybody. He's sick. You're a sick man playing this game.
But I want to decorate
This
my.
is being
my
reported to the internet.
scrap- I want to decorate my
The
scrapbook.
government knows what a sick, twisted arsonist you are now.
But yeah, he does.
And
have
they want to
the-
hire you.
He does have the insane trait. So. But Will soon walked into the empty room where Albert and Alvin slept and appeared to talk to mid-air. Then he went into Pamela's
I had a
room.
neighbor like that once.
Then he went to Pamela's room, shouted, left, then went into where Caitlin slept, looked around, saw nothing, and then left. Bye. This was rather funny because Alvin was at work and Caitlin and Albert had long left. Interesting. He only noticed that Caitlin wasn't there. The plot thickens.
Strange.
He went into Robert's room, screamed something in Simlish, then went back into the hall, which was now burning. He then started freaking out like any other Sim would and caught fire.
Well, finally.
Robert and Pamela woke up, then started freaking out as the fire spread into their rooms. They couldn't do anything, as there were boxed in by the flames, and Sims can't jump. What the, Sims can't jump? What the fuck is that?
They're white.
You don't remember that movie?
They're white. They're
But
white Sims.
Hey, Sim, why don't you go out there and play some basketball? That's not fair.
I can't read.
I'm going to learn to read.
So Sims can't jump out the window to save their lives if necessary. Eventually, the two lit on
That's
fire.
the fun of the game. They can't jump out the
Wait,
window
wait,
to
wait,
save
wait, wait,
themselves.
Eventually,
Jump, Sim.
eventually they
You
two.
can't.
Oh, I forgot you can't jump. 'cause
What a
you're
cruel
Sim.
god you are! Eventually, they too lit on fire, and within an hour,
An hour of burning.
wait.
How can we sleep when the
So-
Sims are burning?
It's a slow burn.
How can we sleep?
Oh,
with
that's
something
right, yeah.
Horrible.
It's like a-
so. Wait. So this guy watched this house burn for an hour.
Spank, 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 spank.
I
It's
only,
a sick culture nowadays.
He really
It's
did.
The Bing search, people burning all day.
I only just then noticed that there were no fire alarms in there. What? As the fire soon
that's
burnt
sick,
out, leaving
sick
almost
man.
all the furniture gone. See, this is my thing.
The first thing that burned was the fire alarm. They made it out of wood.
Couldn't he have like bought a firehouse or some fire trucks or something?
Yeah, it's one thing I noticed.
Did he
actually.
literally just
Very, very cool insurance across the street there.
Is your
And
firehouse?
still, at the house across the street from it burned down.
No,
It was like on the day off.
no.
Sorry, we're taking.
Damn
the day
you,
off
Will!
Oh no. The house across from the fire department burned down.
to the
Alvin
ground.
was the only one left in the household. I was nearly horrified.
Nearly.
And by
Nearly
the time he
thought
I
it
know.
over, and
And then I
And by the
decided I
time he
wasn't.
came, almost everything in the house was burnt down. Then Alvin came home, screamed something in Simlish, ran around the burned house and kept screaming. Then he ran off the lot. I followed him curiously to see where he went, and he went right to the house where
followed him
Albert and
curiously.
Caitlin lived.
Just see how I was walking.
Look at me walk. I'm very curious.
I thought maybe he could have moved in. However, the first thing he did when Albert answered the door
Spank, spank,
was
spank.
stand there and then started shouting at him again. That killed any urge to move Alvin into the house. Wow. I sent him back to the house after cheating a bit to restore some of the furniture. Aw, cheater. I moved to where Caitlin and Albert were. They were both rather well. That's good.
Can't stand a Sims cheater.
I know. But yeah, they're rather well because they didn't have their houses not on fire for an hour.
That's when you're doing well when your house is not on fire.
Tell me about it.
But nowadays, a burning house would actually be a
You know what
commodity.
pisses me off is they should have like nationwide for Sims. Like, come on. As much house gets burnt down and
Yeah,
shit.
where's the insurance agent?
It's like sim.
Seriously, like I'm supposed to be able to say and like someone shows up, right?
Or called Jake from State Farm. from State Sim.
From Turkey Farm.
Oh, wow. I moved to where, they're doing rather well. Caitlin was supporting Albert rather well. But wait. I thought Albert made like tons of money as a writer. Continuity.
Or is that Alvin?
Probably Alvin.
I don't remember which one's which.
Nah, neither more.
Which
All
one
look
has the
same.
singing career?
They all look the same.
The one they're always yelling at? That's the one I think who's writing.
Yeah.
I
Caitlin
don't know how he
was,
gets all that writing done with that guy yelling at him all the time.
that's why he screamed.
Oh, yeah.
Caitlin was supporting Albert rather well, and Albert was becoming self-sufficient. However, Alvin kept coming over and would scream at the two in Simlish. Every time I'd send him home,
In Simlish!
I saved the game and left.
He is Simish, though, you know. It's,
I got bored and decided to play another family.
They yell a lot.
Things went normal, and soon I heard the alert noise and spotted a burglar walking to the house.
Alert!
So wait. You have a burglar alarm, but not a fire alarm? What
No,
the fuck?
they have a noise that comes up in the game whenever something sinister happens. And it's chilling, apparently. It's chilling.
Okay. Thankfully, the burglar alarm went
Where's
off
my
immediately.
jacket?
But the burglar looked a bit similar. I looked at him
Similar?
and the name. Stop it.
Alvin!
It was Alvin.
Alvin! I read this already, so...
What the hell? He was in the military.
What the fuck, Alvin?
Sorry, what the hell? He was military.
Go sing that Lady Gaga song. We got a movie to make.
Maybe because he's homeless now? He's a homeless vet? See, this guy is actually trying to get at the heart of the problem that we as... Sorry, never mind.
Oh, see, no, see, you're taking it... See, no, this is why we need to discuss these things.
The moral of this story is that
There's
no
no
one
moral.
should ever write about their video game experiences.
Oh, the
Wow.
Pokemon
No one
ones are
gives a
so
fucking
good, though.
shit.
Oh, the Pokemon ones are so good.
I want to read that one next.
Oh, the Pokemon ones get dark. They get dark. There's so many.
I'm not surprised.
There's a whole generation of people who grew up with Pokemon.
Yep.
Yeah, it's such amazing cultural anthropology, if I could use that term.
Sure.
Thank you for allowing me to use that term.
Alvin was arrested and
I never
taken
gave
away.
me a go ahead.
I love him. Joe and Rose play him all the time. Alvin was arrested and taken away by the police. Interestingly, I never was able to find him again in the game. He must have been black. The house was incomplete.
He died in the first scene.
But when I
He's wearing a red shirt. I don't
because
know what
he
happened.
could have set some shit on fire. Oh, that was the other guy. Sorry, that was Will.
Set your
Robert.
I got that fire for the streets, son.
The house was then completely empty. Sorry, empty completely. But when I went to edit, but the house was. How can the house be completely empty if it's completely
You
burned
mean empty
down?
completely.
The house was then empty
Not that kind of house.
completely.
Thank God.
But when I went to edit it to move another family in, I noticed it was full of other furniture and items that I did not place in. What on earth? Dun dun dun!
My sister's been playing the game again.
Damn you, Katie!
Keep your hands off my things, Katie.
So then I went to Albert and Caitlin's.
My Sims are not a toy for your amusement.
They were
These
still
toys
doing
are not
rather well.
toys. Stop playing with my toys. They're not toys.
Yep. Albert became a teenager, and I kept pushing his writing. It was Albert, I told you.
He kept pushing his writing.
See, Albert was
That's
the writer,
code.
and
He's a
Albert.
teenager and
Yeah, he's a
he's
teenager, and he was writing.
Wildly successful.
He's a
writer.
wildly successful teenage writer.
This is not about my immersion anymore.
See, that's not about the immersion. We're getting through this. We're getting through this together.
Yes.
You see.
And I kept pushing his writing while Caitlin became an adult and then continued to advance her culinary career. Both of them were rather happy, although Caitlin was always much older. Soon, she became an elder, while Albert was a young adult, and Caitlin moved on, but was at least happy. Aww.
Yeah.
After I moved the
Sitcom
two,
moment. Aww.
after I moved the two out of the hellhole of a house, that was the only time Albert was sad. But by that point, he was so self-sufficient with his lucrative amounts of money.
With his ludicrous
Ludicrous.
book career.
You could make from
My
writing
new
novels.
book called Cadillac Grills.
In the game, her death wasn't doing anything fiscally, so I decided to basically make Albert lead a good life. Okay, that's nice.
Oh, that's good. They're good for
He was
Albert.
making money from his books, so I moved him to a bigger house. He
That's
seemed to
good
be
for
happy to leave it all behind. At least I guessed. He kept going through more and more, reaping the effects of royalty checks. He continued to live a happy
here and let me reap
I wanna
this
be a
royalty
sim
check.
now. I want to be a sim now. What the
I hate when he comes to the bank.
Seriously, like writers.
I brought another royalty check. Ha ha ha. Gather the staff.
Royalties. That's all it's about, bitch.
Oh, royalties all day.
He continued to live a happy life, going on vacations and everything. Wow. One time I started the game up and I found Albert at the cemetery. I noticed that he seemed to walk over a few gravestones, and instead of mourning the death of any Sims, he angrily shouted words in Simlish. I looked at these gravestones and found them labeled Pamela, Robert, and Will. He went over to another one and cried. The one
God,
next to
they're
it
all
was
On fire!
Alvin!
the one next to it. He said angry things in Sims again. I looked at both of them, and the
You're not
one he
supposed to do that in
cried
the
at-
cemetery.
In
I
the
know.
cemetery. I'm gonna learn how to curse in sim language just all day. No one's gonna know what I'm saying. They'll be like, someone's gonna run into me. I'm gonna be like,
I can see it. The one he cried at was listed Jennifer, and the one next to it was Alvin. Jennifer. What? Jennifer had to have been his mother. I assumed.
who?
Exactly. I didn't know when Alvin died. The
The
last
owl
I
of what the
saw
fuck is happening?
of him was when he was caught burglarizing a house. He was found another tombstone. Then he found another tombstone on his own and cried. And this was the one was Caitlin. So Albert didn't have any kids or get married. He had made a lot of friends, and he was never really a reclusive sim.
He liked
He
hamburgers
would
and ice
regularly
cream.
go on the town, dates,
Burn
did a
down
few
houses.
times, but never really settled down or developed a romance. He threw parties a few times and went on a few other vacations, having some fun with the nightlife too. He then befriended
Sims
a vampire,
Hi.
but I had made sure he did not become a vampire. He's a vampire. What the fuck?
Hi, Brett.
After more times, Albert became an elder and went back to writing more books than before. I mostly had
Albert
him
the
write
Elder.
mysteries and some occasional trashy sci-fi novels. That's why
Ooh,
they
I
sell
love
so
those
much.
trashy sci-fi novels.
That's why they sell so much.
Oh my goodness.
One time for kicks,
Lost
I had
in
him.
space.
For one time for kicks, I had him write an autobiography called "A Child Called It," after the Dave Peltzer novel of the same name. I figured since he was abused a lot in his childhood, he probably would have written something like that. I did it as a joke, but then I got a strange message, and it tugged at people's heartstrings. Then people came to the door and left me treats. He gained 50
Treats?
friends from that. Something I
Nice
had
treats
never
for your
gotten.
autobiography.
I cursed that I didn't make him a political job. And
That's
that
where the
now,
cake is. You should have gone into politics. there.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of those political jobbers.
For real, though.
And now that it's too late,
Illuminati,
you need
yo.
friends for political jobs. And Albert made friends so easily. Then I noticed he only had a few days left, so I made him as happy as he did.
He's on his deathbed.
He had some talk to his friends.
Oh, palliative
finally-
care for Sims characters. That's
Oh,
really
God.
dark.
I
Yeah,
know.
serious. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. Then finally came the day that he died, and instead of trying to take the hourglass away from the Grim Reaper, he simply went on peacefully.
Okay.
But for some reason, he looked at the camera as he did this. His friends gathered around his new tombstone and mourned him.
Was there a bag running around full of air as well, and he was filming it with a video camera?
I hope not.
No. Those are
The odd
spirits.
thing
in there.
was, I had
beauty.
a compulsion
Sim
to
spirits.
watch a little while. After a day, nobody came to mourn him. But then Albert's ghost appeared at the tombstone, looking at the computer and started talking something in Simish.
This is
Sims
a
get
video
ghosts?
game. This is a video game. It's a video game.
And then the message popped up. Thank you for the second chance. You let me live the life I never got to have. I died in that fire we'll start years ago. Now it will go. Thank you again. Then his ghost vanished. The more I played The Sims Neighborhood, I never once got to see Albert's ghost or even Caitlin's. To this day, I haven't found out what on earth this was about. I have, however,
Yeah, me
found a
neither.
similar house and family on the exchange.
Another one.
What the
Ooh.
fuck's he saying?
Another house.
And when I asked some of my sim playing
Let's go
friends,
into this
they
house.
pretty much
Burn
did
it.
normal things players do and screw things up.
knows this what
One of
players
them
do, yeah.
emailed me and said that they found a weird house where they left it up to the AI, and apparently Will had burned down the house. And only Alvin had Caitlin survive
There it is.
No!
because they were out of the
Watch
house at the
out.
time. Alvin
You might get what you're after!
Alvin later on became a burglar while Caitlin moved out and went into the culinary field. However, in Caitlin's case, she didn't take Albert with her when she moved out, since Albert had burned to death when Will lit the house on
Well,
fire.
that makes sense she wouldn't take him since he burned to death. Just gonna
A few
leave
days
you
la-
here in the
It's
burning
true.
house.
A few days
You
later,
are no longer relevant to me.
you're dead to me, kid.
Now they're dead to me.
You're dead to me. A few days later, I managed to do a bit of digging around, wondering if this was an actual mod. I asked people to look around news archives to see if there was anything like this.
It was totally a mod. He rode up on his scooter.
Yeah, totally.
There are very few Alvins around here, so I assume this probably wasn't around here where I lived. However, I looked up a family on the exchange, Cooper, by the way, What a generic name. I found that they had a British flag, so I asked some friends in the UK I know via Skype to ask if there was any case about 4 people dying in a fire and someone who turned to crime later.
Never happens.
It also helped. One of them was a librarian. What?
I got a librarian friend. You calling some favors, yo?
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
So they
calling
could-
them librarian favors.
So they could check
Oh, shit.
So they could check old archives and newspaper stories. However, I did fear that they were lost because they could have been making a transition to digital. One of them found the obit of someone named Alvin, a former member of the British Army who had turned to a life of crime after the loss of his wife in a house fire.
Became a hooligan.
And then his
My
son,
wife burned, now I'm a hooligan.
and then his son, a few years later, his death was ruled a suicide. The obituary only mentioned his wife was named Jennifer. Dun dun dun! And
It'd be
his
really
son was
shocking
named
if I was paying
Albert.
attention.
Wait, what the fuck just happened?
I did not detail anything about
He was
Will.
married to my cousin.
I know. It did not detail anything about Will, Caitlin, Pamela, or Robert. I asked them to check for any fire stories within a few years of the event. Strangely, there was only one article detailing how a house in a village nearby Liverpool had burned down.
Hey,
with
Paul,
the
my
cause,
house has burned down.
with the cause of death
Alvin burned my
being
house down.
ruled an arson.
I'm gonna write a song about it.
4 people died in the fire, 3 adults and 1 child. That child was, I
adults
realized,
and 1
had to have been
child.
Albert. Because
child was
honestly,
Albert.
4 people dying in a house fire only once happens. It happens only once in
It
England.
only happened once in Liverpool, and then John Lennon moved away. Mother!
There was no news about what happened to Caitlin or any other news about how they found out who did it. There were evidently no obituaries posted about Will, Pamela, or Robert. However, I do believe that we may have found everything we need. That my game was haunted, but but it wasn't a malicious ghost.
No, it wasn't malicious, but
So-
it
It
was
was Casper the
delicious.
Friendly Ghost.
I'm sorry.
It
One
was a
that is
delicious,
Albert the friendly ghost.
non-malicious.
Okay, one thing I have to say.
Yeah.
The one thing that
Yeah,
pulls me out
let's
is
hear it.
is that why would this be an English story? Because the English they don't have internet. So why?
They don't have internet in England.
Where they don't?
I mean,
They have- no,
isn't
they-
like,
they
isn't
don't
like
have it yet.
an underdeveloped country or something? Like I don't
England?
understand.
No, look.
No, they just have bad dental. That's all it is.
What? No. Sorry for people listening to us in the UK. We love you.
The moral of this story is the only thing worse than hearing about someone's dreams is hearing about a video game they played. Thank you. Good night.
And then this one time in The Sims, this evil clown showed up.
I'm done.
This was the weirdest haunted Sim stories ever. It was
Yeah, there's
so
a lot of them out
tedious.
there.
It was so tedious. It was so tedious.
So just so you know, we're at the 46-minute mark. So now you know what I was talking about the other day when I was like, I gave up twice during a story. I gave up twice.
The sad thing about it is you did this shit by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
The only way I could keep going was because I was with you guys doing this.
Okay, well, I
wow,
just-
that was a rough one to get.
Can I
It was
just say
good.
that I smoked?
Thank you for being rockstars for episode 4. We appreciate you. You are snowflakes. You did all our work for us. Fuck you. Tune in next week. Find your personality. Pain me. I am dying. Pain me. I love you.